Following is a live presentation of News Channel Nebraska Sports.
And welcome to Collin Stadium in Omaha, Nebraska. High school soccer coming your way, and we have a good one here on News Channel Nebraska on a brisk Thursday evening as the national anthem is being played. Brandon Axmit, Abel Covarrubias with me in the booth as we have number 1 Omaha South hosting number 7 Grand Island. Abel, both of these teams are undefeated. There's so much pride and tradition between these two squads, and it's hard to believe these two programs have never met before on the soccer pitch, ever.
You know, although they've never met, they've wanted to meet. There's players both on both teams, Omaha South, GI, that have players that know one another. Both have played on club teams out here in Omaha, have joined on that run, have gone out, been state champions at the club level, and now they're finally getting that opportunity to come out here and face each other, show what their programs are all about, and get to represent those communities.
And we'll be talking much more about the strength of the tradition of these two programs as the night goes on. Two players, though, that you need to know about. First off, for Omaha South, Carlos Salazar, the junior forward. He has 4 goals and 1 assist already. He's not the only person with 4 goals as well, Abel, for the Packers. There's 2 other players with 4 goals. There's so much offensive firepower in this team, but he is the spearhead of the attack.
And you know, that's not no surprise. This team is one that loves to share the ball. They move the ball very well in between the other team, the opponent. And why not? You know, go out there, share that joy of getting a goal. If you got that top goal scorer, keep going at them. You'll find some more.
As for Grand Island, going with the leading goal scorer, Moises Jacobo, the junior. He has 4 goals, but also, not only is he great at putting balls in the back of the net, he distributes so well. He has 3 assists. We saw him play midfield and defense last year as a sophomore, but Coach Jensen has him right up top, square in the middle of the attack at center forward, and he's been doing it all this season.
He has. Just like he did last year, middle and defense, he's now kind of vice versa. He's middle and forward. He's given those opportunities up top, holding that ball, allowing his team to come up top, and you know what? He's a little flashy. He's going to come out there, put on some moves, and get that ball out into some space.
We are just seconds away from kickoff again. Looking forward to this. Grand Island sitting at 4-0, Omaha South at 5-0. We'd like to remind you that our soccer broadcast helped made possible by JBS. They are the number 1 meat protein producer in the world, and they are proud of the Grand Island employees and their shared commitment to the community. JBS, making your world stronger. Some of the storylines, Abel, coming into this season for Grand Island, they never scored more than 2 goals. Last year, it was a wild season where they won 5 of their 5 shootout games. They made it to state, lost in the first round, 1-0 to Kearney. But when you talk to Coach Jensen and this group that comes back, that loss stung, and they have aspirations, of course, making it back to Morrison Stadium and potentially getting to that Final Four night you hear Coach Jensen talk about so often. But talking to Coach Jensen as well, he says this group is poised to make that run, the most talented group he's had since 2013.
Absolutely, and all those goals coming without the help of Najib. Najib last year was one of those players that they relied on quite a bit to go out there, get the ball up forward, and find some of those goals. This year, he hasn't had one. So this could be that breakout game, or Moises could be the one that still goes forward and, you know, contributes to that side. But again, they got that defense in Omaha South that they have to get through first.
And for the Packers, last year went 14-7, an uncharacteristic year where Coach Joe Moss didn't mince any words. He says, we weren't very good last year, and a lot of squads will take 14-7, but that is not characteristic of what this Packers team is used to under the 19 seasons with Moss at the helm. They won state back in 2016, then they kind of had a rebuilding year where they lost a lot of older players in the 2017 season. Now, he says, the good news is we're very senior-oriented. We have a lot of experience, 4 players coming back from last year's team, but the funny thing is, or the nice thing is, he said there are sophomores in the starting lineup that are better than the seniors. They have a lot of young guns that are in this starting 11 that provide so much ability on this squad.
And that's just the community of Omaha. They do a great job of just developing that youth up here. Omaha South has a great program out here, has the ability to go out, get the reserves, JV, and then the varsity level to, again, allow these players some playing time. Those minutes out here on the field are actually what matter. Practice, everyone can do just about anything, but can you do that same thing out here on practice or out on the game field?
South also bounced in the first round last year. That was to Prep, where their season ended. They had a red card and were just unable to recover. As for the starting lineups, let's take a look at them, the starting 11 for both these teams. Grand Island actually switching to a 4-1-4-1 for this contest. You have Moises Jacobo. He normally plays the false 9. He is up top now, and the big reason for that, you see Steven Castillo, the left wing. He's been a mainstay at left back this year. Had 3 goals as a left back, but Coach Jensen said, we're going to move him up. We don't want to sit back and let this Omaha South team attack us. He wants to see if Castillo can really create offense on the flank and put some pressure on this Packers squad.
And that's just showing the versatility of some of these players. Steven has played up at center back, down there all up until this point. Now he's being asked to play in that middle role where he's always played and he's comfortable. So again, that's just the versatility of just some of these players and the abilities that they're able to do and just provide for their teams when they need to.
Packers with the 4-1-3-2, and we talked about the 4-goal scorers. You have David Salazar with 4 goals, Carlos Salazar with 4 goals, and as well as Omar Fregoso with 4 goals as well, and there's plenty more in that starting 11. They have the 2 up top between Palga and Fregoso.
I'll tell you what, those Salazars must have some great chemistry. Both of them out there competing for goal scorer on their team. Right now, though, Carlos is just kind of slightly ahead.
Just a few minutes in here, teams sort of feeling each other out. Grand Island coming off of a 3-1 victory over Hastings, as we have a shot from the 18, and South strikes early on, and the Packers are on the board. What a rip in the top corner, and that did not take long.
You know, you said it earlier, they were feeling each other out. That's usually when they're most vulnerable. They're trying to figure out what the other team's up to. They're not yet up to that energy level, and you can see right there, Grand Island just could not get that ball cleared out. Perfect ball, just landed outside the 18, volley off the chest, and just shot that right into that corner.
Get another look at the rip here. There's the chest. There's the rip. And we were talking about Carlos Salazar, and right on cue, he puts in his 5th goal of the season. Ojib Omar trying to bring the ball up the right wing. That goal coming in the 4th minute of play, so the Packers wasting no time. As Carlos Salazar, the junior, strikes.
You know, early goal, you know, you got the coaches out here, maybe not going to change too much in how these two teams are set up right now just because it is so early of a goal. You know, we still have about 36 minutes out here on the board, so anything could happen.
Of course, like you mentioned, there's plenty of time left, so you don't want to just throw everything out the window right now if you're Grand Island and Coach Jensen. Will be interesting to see if he leaves Castillo up on that left wing as opposed to pulling him back.
And that's just been an issue that Grand Island's been seeing quite a bit this year. In those first couple games, they gave up goals and just failure to clear the ball. It's just something as simple as that, just getting that ball outside of the 18, putting it up and allowing your team to regroup.
And Salazar, a player, this is going to be his last high school soccer season, even though he's a junior, going to be going to Creighton. They wanted him to graduate early. He'll be graduating this December and enrolling with Creighton so that he can play soccer there the following season.
Not just great athletes, but also some great academic individuals out here. It takes a lot to go out here and graduate midterm that senior year.
We saw Najib Omar trying to make a run on the right side, but he was dealt with by Mauricio Felix. You have to believe the Packers are going to have their eyes on Najib Omar, number 7, at all times. So fast, and talking to Coach Jensen, he was a freshman last year, so raw, where he really relied on his speed and his speed alone, but another year under your belt, you start developing that technique and your technical abilities a little bit more, and you become even more dangerous.
You know, and something we saw with Najib last year is that he just liked to go straight at the goal. He gets so close to the goal that he just kind of loses himself and didn't really know what to do with it. And this year, it's been completely different. He beats that player off on that side, dribbles that ball right up the middle, and this year he's been putting that ball across the goal rather than into the goal.
Have our first corner of the game, short one taken by the Packers. And we've seen Najib's speed pay dividends for the Islanders, like you already mentioned. He has 4 assists to his name, just wreaking havoc on the flanks, and Coach Jensen's going to hope that he can do that here today against this stout Packer defense. There's the give and go. Jacobo trying to get it to Omar. South gets the ball back at midfield. And talking to Coach Moss and this Omaha South team, more times than not when you're talking to a high school coach, you say, our style is possession. We like to possess the ball, but the Packers truly possess the ball, and you watch what they do. And Coach Moss says it's very rare where there's a time where we don't have 60% or more possession during a game. They value it so much, they string together 10, 12, 15 passes at a time, and they're never really going to force anything.
And they're not easy passes. These are passes that are tied into space. You will notice once they start getting into that final third of the field, the size, the openness in between players, it just decreases. So those passes need to be spot on, and even the touches. They need to be good. You need to be able to stop that ball at your feet and be able to find that pass.
Headed there by Brian Covarrubias, mainstay at the center back spot. There you see the patience here. Santana swinging it around. Aguilar can't tackle. Another shot from the outside, and that one just missing.
Take a deflection there. I believe everyone's setting up as if it was a corner.
Another look at it here. And that's an error, you know. You didn't clear the ball out like you said, and that's how Grand Island gave up their first goal. Didn't get hurt, at least right there, but we still have a corner, the second upcoming for the Packers.
And they decided to go with this one back post.
It's going to go out of play to GI. You have that newcomer between the sticks for GI. Abel, Leonardo Bedoya, of course, big shoes to fill with Justin Oregon graduating last year.
Oh, great player within Justin Oregon. You know, he was one of the reasons the Islanders were able to come out on top on a number of those shootouts. Just his ability to read the player, see where he's going to shoot some of those penalty kicks. You know, now Leo needs to just come out here and take that by himself. He needs to go out here and kind of make a name for himself. And, you know, going out here talking to him at practice, that's exactly what he wants to be doing.
And you have a pretty good goalkeeper on the other side as well with Adrian Felix, who has the option to go to Creighton or the University of Nebraska Omaha. And it's kind of an interesting scenario for both these keepers. Coming into this contest, they each have 5 saves. That's not very much, but it's not like they've given up many goals. It's because the back line in front of them is so solid that they are very rarely tested.
You know, and it's not always the saves that these keepers are making, but just the leadership back there. Adrian is one of those players. I had the opportunity to watch him when he was out there playing for NFC. He is a great leader back there, never stays quiet, is yelling at his back line, giving instructions, and just knows exactly how to go about distributing that ball. And that's, again, not necessarily the saves, but just the ability to contribute from that back line.
Islanders trying to spring a counter here. Ball at the feet of Jacobo, now Omar. And the two could not quite connect there. Mauricio Felix deals with the threat. And you see just how poised the Packers are with the ball.
Yep, and we're about 10 minutes into this half, and for the most part, like you said, Packers love to be on that ball, like to possess, and they've done exactly that. I'd say the majority of those first 10 minutes have been played out here on Grand Island side.
Rare steal there. Chance for another counter. Jair Orozco tries to send it through the middle, and there is the first action for Felix. I'd like to remind you, the Foot and Ankle Clinic of Central Nebraska is a proud supporter of area athletes and is committed to improving the health of your feet, ankles, and lower legs. With clinics in Broken Bow, Hastings, York, and Grand Island, go online to learn more or schedule an appointment at gifootclinic.com.
You can hear some of the fans down here. We just had a meg, what we would refer to in football. And the fans just getting a little bit excited down there.
Rightfully so. You come here to see good soccer, and I'm sure that's not the last fancy portion of footwork they'll see here tonight.
Absolutely not. Both these teams have some very flashy players out here on their teams.
Loose ball falls again in. Bedoya, the diving save. South just not afraid to rip it from deep.
Again, it just looks like one of those opportunities to clear the ball and just aren't able to do it.
Orozco passes it off. Now there is some space here in the attacking third for Grand Island. It's just getting past that back four.
Yep, it seems to be stopping for Grand Island right outside that 18. Any ball that's been up here, they have just been able to stop them in front of that.
Covarrubias coming across to knock that out of play. It'll be a Packer throw.
I'll tell you what, that's going to be a fun battle to watch all game. You're going to have Brian Covarrubias in that center back role and Carlos Salazar right there, that number 10, playing that center forward.
Certainly not an easy task, but if anyone's up to it, Covarrubias is the guy. Coach Jensen, rightfully so, labels him as all-state caliber center back. He's been doing it for years, and this is a senior campaign. Be another south throw. Long throw, and this will be the third corner upcoming for the Packers. And actually, talking to Coach Moss, he said, we need to be more clinical in front of the net. We've had 30-plus corners, and they're yet to score off one this season. Even though they still have plenty of goals going in, he'd like to see a set piece pay some dividends.
You know, that's a difficult task. You have so many bodies right there in the middle that it just kind of lands out back on the back end. But you got so many bodies back there in the middle that it's just so difficult to win position and then find the ball, find a head on the ball, or even get a cross in.
And there'll be no goal there for the Packers either. Goal kick upcoming. Nearing 15 minutes in.
And the Packers have decided to do a couple different things out there on their corners down here, bottom of your screen on the right-hand side. They went with the short ball and out across the field. They went ahead and just kind of crossed it back post.
Again, an opportunity here to spring an attack. Ball pushed forward by Gomez. Boomed ahead. Omar running on. Dealt with again by Felix. Now David Salazar out wide to Felix.
And here's that battle again.
And Covarrubias wins it.
I'm telling you, Brandon, it's going to be a good one right there. Right now in the middle, though, both of these teams, it just seems that they're having easy flow going through the middle. Not really seeing any pressure until we get into that final third.
At least from the South perspective, it's almost like they're welcoming that attack, or they're okay with leaving enough attacking bodies forward that they have that much trust in their back line.
Yeah, they're challenging Grand Island for sure. They're asking, how creative are you? Can you get back past us? Physically, haven't been able to do it so much, so they're gonna have to change up the style, be a little bit more flashy, creative. But that back line has just been sticking them every time.
And right now, they're just 3 on the back line currently for the Packers. GI outnumbering them if they could get their bodies forward. And now you see some of the mids coming back. There's Mark Uloa starting in that defensive mid spot. So he worked his way in the starting lineup as well for this contest with the shift in formation. And talking to Coach Jensen, his one job is to protect the center backs. Doesn't have to do too much, but actually looks like he's been moved out wide from that position up top, or in that defensive mid spot.
Nope, you're absolutely right. It looks like he's gone ahead and dropped back Isco out there into that defensive mid role.
Isco Ayala, junior midfielder with 1 assist so far this season. Formationally, it looks like they're still having just the 1 defensive mid. Games prior, they've had it where the 2 defensive mids and 1 attacking mid up top.
South again, just kind of continuing with that possession. Just taking a player on, finding their pass, getting back into open space. There's a great ball that just came across field, was able to save it. David Salazar dropping it back.
And Mauricio Felix going at Omar. And Najib tracking back, playing some good defense. Free kick awarded here to the Islanders. 23 minutes and change left in the contest, or in the first half rather.
About halfway through this first half, and I don't think I've seen either team out here make a sub. So, you know, these coaches are giving the trust to these starting 11, showing who's got the best conditioning right now, physicality, and just allowing them to play it out.
Orozco with it. Ulloa sends it in. Threat dealt with by Michael Tovar. And handball called against Adan. Covarrubias sends this one towards the box.
Landing right at Najib's feet.
There's the
Finding
square
Nisco.
ball. Orozco to Ulloa. And again, that back line of South, kicking it away. Swung in, far post to Omar. Props for trying the bicycle kick. And we have contact, no whistle. And here comes the Packers on the counter. That one kicked too far ahead from Ferragoso. And yeah, I was gonna say there's no way Orozco's not offside there.
Coaches always preach it. Come back, get back on side. You never know what's going to happen. He just took his time back there. Obviously, South is not going to be worried whatsoever. They did a great job, though, defensively getting that line out of their back and going out there, getting out to the 30 before that pass came through.
Free kick goes right to Gomez. Jacobo. Omar to Orozco.
You know, Jair was another one of those players who last year we saw at center back. This year, moving back, Roylene Martin back into that center back role and allowing Jair to do what he wants. Get up the top, make some goals. Last year, he had that eagerness to just go forward, and sometimes it cost the Islanders, but I think Jensen's just giving him what he wants this year.
Well, and it's worked. He already has 3 goals in 4 games so far, playing in that midfield spot. Can't complain with that production.
Nope, absolutely not.
Gomez dispossessed at midfield. Here comes South. Covarrubias trying to deal with the threat. Squared to the top of the box, a rip from deep, and Bedoya again comes up with a big save.
Yeah, and it is those gaps in the middle that is just causing the Islanders. South player just coming right at top of the 18, no one marking. Just had a clear shot at goal.
Abdi Adan ripping it from 20 yards.
You know, he gets a little bit more under that. I might find the upper corner.
South having the majority of the goal-scoring opportunities here, up 1-0 after a 4th-minute goal by Carlos Salazar. Top shelf from outside the box. Omar passes off to Jacobo, who's at least dropped back momentarily. Looks like he's playing more an attacking mid-role as opposed to the striker position he started out in.
Here we go, counterattack.
Ferragoso trying to square it. Covarrubias is there. Patience by Orozco. Space here for Najib Omar. Play on, says the official. Plenty of space here on the near side for David Salazar. And one back. By the Islanders up to Jacobo. That was Isco with the tackle. And a goal kick here for South.
The game's kind of opened up a little bit more. We're seeing a little bit, both teams just kind of hanging back. South, they're hanging back, stopping that ball, but they got these guys up top that, numbers does not matter for them. They are able to take players on, put that ball into space, and just challenge one another. Grand Island doing the same, but just having a little bit more difficulty in that final third. Still really haven't seen a shot on goal, challenging Adrian out there, South goalkeeper.
Looking for that final shot, like you mentioned, they've been unable to get. Orozco has gone to the bench for a breather for the Islanders. You have Castillo now in a more central midfield role.
It looks like Najib also came off, and now we have Daniel back out here, out on the wing, just player for player.
It's Daniel Montiel as David Salazar squares it across. Uloa intercepted the pass. Islanders still trying to clear it. Headed away. Again, South continuing just to swing balls in, take shots from deep. Have the Islanders on their back heels a little bit.
And right now, really in that final third, it's just the touch of these players that's being the difference. Omaha South has just been getting great first touches on the ball. We have Moses up top holding the ball a little bit.
And there goes Jacobo. Just a little too heavy of a touch, and there's that experienced keeper in Felix coming out.
But yeah, that touch is just being that difference right now. Omaha South, when they get in that final third, their touches are clean. They're able to get that ball right under their feet, get that shot off. Grand Island, they're getting that touch on the ball, and it's just bouncing off a little bit for them.
Zaragoza with the left foot ends up finding the face of Martin. Seems to be all right. Those always sting just a little bit.
Oh, definitely do. He's probably thankful that tonight isn't as cold as it has been previously.
No. Say it again.
We're going to have a throw in for the Packers. 16 minutes and change left here in the first half. Number 1 South leading 1-0. Adon with it. Now to Mark Santana.
Again, just a great job moving the ball around, really moving the Islanders and opening up space.
Ball sent back post. Islanders need to clear it away. They do. Little nervy there with the ball bouncing around in the 6-yard box.
He got a little bit of backspin. He didn't know what happened with her. He kind of came off his foot differently, didn't expect it.
Drop back to Santana. Space here on the near side for Adon. Deflected off the Islanders, and that will be the 4th corner here for the Packers. Ball sent in, going to the back post, headed. And GI escapes again. Some space here. Jacobo. Yeah, he's offside as well.
Yeah, we could see that from up here. He was about 5 yards off. That ref was just waiting for him to touch the ball to raise his flag.
Second offsides against the Islanders. It's Ricky Barriga in for South. Now on the far side, Hernandez. And have a free kick upcoming for the Packers. You have that Packer line setting up right at the 18. Fernandez, booming kick. And just off the top netting.
I couldn't tell if the center ref there had raised his arm or not, and whether it was a direct or indirect kick. If it was indirect, it wouldn't have mattered too much if that ball came down and went into goal. But still, again, Packers out here just doing a great job keeping that ball out here on the Islanders' halves, finding fouls, putting that ball into some dangerous spots.
Orozco back in here for the Islanders in the middle of the field. You have Jacobo as well in that midfield spot. Isco Ayala up top, so looks like Jensen's wanting to have a little more stability in that midfield and win the midfield battles.
I don't know if he's trying to confuse or he's just trying to kind of feel for this game, try to get it set up, get their players better set up. But you see Moises also, jump back, drop back into the middle. If you look into the far side corner, we have Najib that came back on. He's now playing on the other side.
Ball drop back here to Felix. All chested down. Chance for a rip, deflects off an Islander defender. GI failing to clear. Footwork by Adon. And a free kick is going to be awarded here.
That's a really good spot there for the Packers. You got it right, off to one side, not directly down the middle. I would say it's a pretty good distance that, one of these players could hit it. And it looks like we got a left-footed player with the quick pass.
Oh, no. 30 yards out. But Doyle is trying to set up his wall. And that's too easy. The Packers up 2-0. It looks like that was Mauricio Felix with a heads-up play. And Abel, you can't do things like that if you're trying to take down the #1 team in the state.
Absolutely not. Communication 100%, especially right now. That goalkeeper should have known what's going on. He saw that the ref had already blown, or heard that the ref had already blown his whistle, and he should have been on his toes, back right into the center.
30-yard strike for Mauricio Felix. That is his second goal of this season. And just a sophomore showing some great awareness there to take that kick. High shot off the top netting again. GI, obviously your goal is to regroup now before half. And you consider it a win if you get one back before going into the break. I'd like to remind you as well to feel free to interact with us on social media. Give us a tweet, give us a follow on Twitter at NCN Sports. Use the hashtag NebPreps. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're cheering for, anything else you might like to throw in there. We'll give you a shout out live on the air. Again, tweet us at NCN Sports. Two nothing lead here for #1 Omaha South. Goals coming from Carlos Salazar in the 4th minute, and most recently off a free kick in the 28th minute, Mauricio Felix. Grand Island, the #7 team in the state. South, the top team. Both teams yet to have a defeat in this early season. Ball squared near the 6-yard box. And a shot was unable to be cleanly taken by Palga.
Ooh,
but we have a goal.
Oh, just about. Yeah, that was the rocket that came out just about chest level. That came outside, I'd say about the 20-yard line.
Jeez. Takes the deflection. Almost goes near post south, though. Feeling it right now, firing on all cylinders. You know, you're a Grand Island team going against a team with the talent of Omaha South, and they get up on you 2-0. What do you do to remain positive and battle through the adversity that right now the Islanders are dealing with?
You know, the Islanders just in the last couple minutes have been having some really difficulty. We got another shot, putting it back into the middle. Clear it. Still falling at the Packers' feet. There's that flashiness we've been talking about.
Sent into the box, headed back post, squared, and over the crossbar.
But Brandon, just kind of going back to your question about Grand Island, for me, they just need to get back into the rhythm. They have not been connecting on any of those passes. They're feeling urgent, anxious to go up forward, but again, it's been some sloppy play out here. They just need to go back, get connecting to some of those passes, find each other into that space, and just kind of keep moving that ball forward. Right now, it's just been, let's get that ball off our line, get back set up, and, you know, let South come back at us again.
Here potentially comes another attack. David Salazar tries to switch fields. One in the midfield by Santana. And it'll be a GI goal kick.
We've got about 7 minutes, 7.5 here left. Omaha South, you know, I think they're anxious to just kind of go forward and keep going up there. It's there, but it's not as urgent as it has been in the entire first half. And I can definitely understand that. You're going up 2-0 right now. Let's kind of set back and try to go into this halftime with that lead. Like you said, you give that one goal up. It's very easy for that other team to just come back into this game. I always say that 2-0 lead is one of those dangerous. We get too comfortable. You're okay with where you're at. You're winning up 2, and then just out of nowhere, you're dozing off, and they get back in.
Space here on the near side. Ball swung in. Now it goes past the end line. All the attacks been increasing for this Packers team, that the defense has been locking down as well. The chances created by this Islander squad have sort of become less and less as this half has gone on.
And I guarantee you Adrian back there, the goalkeeper for the Packers, is 100% okay with that, not having to touch the ball whatsoever. But again, you see him out there, he's calling shots, he's telling his back line where to look, what runs are coming.
Throw in here for South. Under 6 minutes left here. Adon. Ball cleared away by Kovarubias. Knocked out a play by Centeno. Booted up top, trying to find Omar. And Jacobo keeps it in. Up top again to Adon. Islanders win it back in the midfield. Orozco. Polga tracking all the way back, causing Orozco some problems here. And goal kick upcoming. And Islanders yet to win a corner.
This is probably the 3rd time Adrian's touching it back there. I haven't been keeping track of the goal kicks for him, but I could say I'd probably count them on one hand. That's, again, just to that defense of these Packers. They're just stuck in them. They're not allowing them to get any deeper to just even get close to taking a shot.
Packers again trying to spring a counter. There's space for Salazar. Felix. Under 4 to go before half. Now Santana. Again, you're just seeing this possession on full display. And should have a card here.
Looks like he just went ahead and
no.
warned them.
Fair enough.
Say the refereeing has just been pretty consistent out here. He's letting them play on. You got some powerhouse schools out here going against each other. It's going to be a physical game. Football, soccer, it is a contact sport. So it's nice to see that they're allowing them to just kind of play on.
So free kick awarded to the Islanders. Switched over here to Jake Jacobo. He needs to come to the ball. Packers again on the counter. Plenty of space on the far side. Shot down low, and Covarrubias was there. My goodness. Saved the Islanders from going down 3-0. And that's another mistake that you just can't be afford to make.
You know, it's just, again, something as simple as going to the ball. You said it. He didn't want to go to it, and you know what? Packer, I'll go ahead and get it.
Uloa wins it back for GI. Ayala cleared away on that back line by Hernandez.
Two minutes remaining in the
Tackled
first
by
half.
Orozco. And Orozco battling. Strong tackle, Jacobo. Here comes Adon. To Barga. Under 90 seconds left to play. Space up top. Solid tackle. Chance here for GI with numbers. Ayala to Orozco. There's Omar. But the trusty center back is there.
Johan just going ahead.
Centeno. It's about as good of a chance that the Islanders have created all half.
It's the very first corner coming within the last minute here for the Grand Island Islanders. And they've got to be careful. You know, the Packers, they do a great job on that counterattack. So Islanders need to get a shot on goal or just clear that as soon as they can.
Uloa sends it in. Cleared away. Castillo. And he was flagged for offside, so we're 30 minutes of extra time, roughly, so clock showing 0. We still have a little bit left to play.
I'd say we did a pretty good job. 30 seconds
Not
off.
bad. We'll take it.
We'll call this stoppage time.
Islanders may get one last chance here this half if they hurry. 12 seconds.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
Kobo
4,
working it up.
3, 2, 1.
That'll do it for half number 1. Omaha South leading 2-0 at the break. We'll take a break as well. Be back with some halftime stats, highlights, and analysis. You're watching high school soccer on News Channel Nebraska. Welcome back here to Collins Stadium, currently at halftime. Number 1, Omaha South, leading number 7, Grand Island, 2-0 at the halftime break. Brandon Axman, Abel Covarrubias with you. Take a look at some of those highlights from the first half, Abel, but I think the story is South's really good. Grand Island's made some mistakes, and the Packers have made them pay for it.
Exactly true. 4 minutes into the half, we have this right here. Just in the failure to clear that ball landing right outside the 18, and they're just going to go ahead, volley that off the chest, and take a shot.
Carlos Salazar, that's his 5th goal of this season, and South had plenty of opportunities. That one deflecting off an Islander, but the pressure continued and sort of grew as the half went on from the Packers squad. Bedoya with 2 saves so far in the first half. There was one of them.
And it just has been for the Islanders, the errors. Just having to clear some of those things up. We'll see multiple times out here just the failure to clear that ball, failure to even just pressure a player upon that shot. And here's this one. Just coming out back post. Ooh, sinks in. Another one. But, the Islanders are able to just clean up some of these errors in the second half. Mind you, they are a second half team. They come out here, they perform a lot better during the second half, but the back line out here for the Packers, as you see, we have no highlights hardly out here for the Islanders right now.
That last goal you just saw was another one of those errors you were talking about. Free kick from 30 yards out. Bedoya was just not ready. He was still trying to organize his wall, and heads up play by Mauricio Felix to put that one in. So that gave him the 2-0 lead, and that's where we're sitting right now.
And you saw just there on that last highlight we saw, put that ball right back into the middle. Packer player just somehow got under it too much, and they went straight up into the air. Islander goalkeeper Bedoya probably a little bit thankful not having to make another save back there.
So you're Coach Moss, you're obviously pretty happy with how things are sitting right now. What do you think he's saying to his Packers team as they get ready to approach this second half?
Just keep doing what you're doing. They've been doing a great job of moving the ball around, causing the Grand Island players to come out of position, opening up space for their fellow playmates to just kind of go into that space, putting that ball into space, keeping that clean touch on that first touch. And, honestly, Joe Moss probably just went out there, keep doing what you guys are doing. You guys are doing a great job. Just keep that pressure up. And hopefully the Islanders out here, Jensen's kind of making those adjustments to help out his team, get them better set up for the second half.
Well, just about a minute away till the start of half number 2. We'd like to remind you, feel free to interact with us on Twitter at NCN Sports. Give us a tweet, give us a follow, let us know who you're watching for, or who you're watching, where you're watching from, anything else you might like to throw out there. Emily Nash at Emily Nash tweets at us at NCN Sports saying, "Go Islanders, watching from Lincoln." Appreciate that. Be like Emily. What's better than getting your name on the air, Abel? I don't know if there is anything else.
Absolutely not. Just that moment of fame for anyone that's willing to tweet at us, get that name out there.
Well, Grand Island, like you said there, they have some work to do, trailing the number 1 team, 2-0. All it takes is 1 goal, and let's see how they're lining up. Looks like they have Najib back on the right side, Castillo in the middle spot, and they have Gomez Jr. out wide on the left.
Yep, and it looks like Mark is going to be playing back here next to Brian at the left back role, Marco Ola.
He's kind of been all over the place. Started at D mid, moved up in attack, and now he's on the left back spot. Castillo, though, he has 3 goals coming from the left back spot, and Coach Jensen really liked the attacking option he provides from the left back spot when he was playing there, but now you kind of unleash him more or less without tying him to those defensive responsibilities. And of course, you're going to need as much offensive firepower as possible when you're chasing this game.
And the Islanders are definitely trying to set up that middle with just as much power as possible. Have some of their main players, like you said, Steven, Moises Jacobo, both in that area, and along with Jair.
And it looks like also Jose Amaya up top on the left. Haven't seen much of him this season, but he's a senior forward. Or excuse me, sophomore forward.
Islanders maybe just looking for that spark. Who can bring it to this game? Who can bring that different energy level?
Packers still with plenty of balls or bodies forward as that shot skitters wide. Formationally, it still looks like GI's in that 4-1-4-1 they started out.
And here's a player for the Packers that we actually didn't see quite too much in the last half of that first half. Carlos Salazar back out here next to Mark Ola, who's now playing in a new position the second half. So we'll see how that kind of plans out.
It's not going to be easy sledding for Mark, if I had to guess. All chipped into the box. South still with possession at that corner flag. And the Packers regroup, dropping it back.
He's been doing a great job of finding those passes all game.
Jacobo trying for the big switch. Hernandez says not this time. South throw upcoming. Orozco wins it back at midfield, drop back to Jacobo. Islanders with some bodies forward. Now Salazar. See just how desperately the Islanders trying to win the ball back, and it can be frustrating when you're going against a team that just loves possession and is good at keeping possession.
And they are pressuring a little bit more. You're seeing a little bit more urgency in their runs, trying to get to them. But again, the Packers are just too quick and aware of where everyone's at to know where their ball is, or that ball needs to be placed or moved to.
Salazar swings it in. Cleared by Covarrubias. Maya trying to head it forward to Gomez. Back to Salazar, overlapping run. He's searching for Hernandez. And Covarrubias, nice job there to win the goal kick.
So this is roughly about that time in the first half that we said both teams were filling each other out, and we got our first goal. So
It's not your fault.
take a little bit longer for the Packers the second half.
The Islanders, of course, I'm sure okay with that. You have to think if South gets one more, not impossible, but definitely
A lot harder.
very, very harder than it already is right now for the Islanders to get back into this one. You know, if Islanders get a goal here, like we mentioned, the lead's cut in half, you have some momentum, you have a chance, but you let South get up 3-0 on you in the second half, and percentages are not with you. Martin kicking that one out of the air. Jacobo trying to release Omar. Again, those center backs so fast, but Omar still with possession. And there's Felix's first action of the half as he intercepts the cross. Again, a chance for Omar. Cuts it inside and just a little bit too far ahead of Gomez.
Now just seeing the Islanders connecting a little bit more. They're finding each other, actually pressuring the other team, causing them some issues out there, just like Najib did.
That was something the Packers were able to limit, was the impact of Najib Omar out wide. They shut him down. Jacobo with the interception. Orozco. Now to Castillo. And looks like official points for a goal kick. Seven minutes in, roughly. Scoreless here in the second half. Packers still with a comfortable 2-0 lead. Omar making a run forward. Once again, the back line of the Packers deal with the threat. Space now for a counter. One back by Castillo. Castillo gets past Santana. Omar and Jacobo. Jacobo splits the defense. Still with the ball at his feet. Back to Omar. That defense is relentless. Throw quickly taken. Have to throw it again.
Calling it back.
So this is something we didn't see at all in the first half, with Grand Island enjoying some stints of ball on the opposite side of the half. Their offense is at least creating some opportunities.
You know, like we said in the first, they just needed to settle in, connect a little bit more, find each other, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're forcing the Packers to just kind of fall back to their back line, top of the 18, but still unable to find that pass, that creativeness that they need in that final third to even get a shot off.
Bedoya is off his line. Chip. Oh my. Goal number 3 for South. Omar Fragoso using the L1 button. A bell. And again, unfortunately for the Islanders, it's on the heels of another error. Dropped it back to Bedoya, who just unable to clear it properly, went right to a South player, and Fragoso chips it in.
Again, as we're just kind of crediting those Islanders for the work they've been doing on the ball.
Omar Fragoso. That is his 5th goal of the season as well. "30 minutes still to play and some change. But the task has gotten even tougher now for GI, and South is displaying why they are the #1 team, very deserving of it. I don't know many players, Abel, that can just off balance chip it like that from 25 yards out.
You know,
perfectly.
From out here, I couldn't tell. I had a different angle, and it looked like it was just going to be too high. But man, that ball just came back down and found the back of the net. Well, those were one of the most exciting plays that you can pull off on a goalkeeper, when you can kind of go out there and just kind of chip them.
Handball called against GI. South with the free kick right here from midfield. GI with numbers, an opportunity to counter here if they hurry. Castillo looking for Omar, not quite enough on it. Islanders passing it around. Ema to the middle. Counter here for South. Charging down is Santana. Solid tackle by Martin. Packers still with possession, however. Ball now at the feet of Salazar. He goes to his brother, Carlos Salazar, but Bedoya scoops it up, throws it out quickly. Good give and go there by Castillo, but could not complete the pass over to Omar. Jacobo heads it away. Now Orozco. Uloa. All the way back to Bedoya. Well, I'd like to remind you that NCN coverage is proudly supported by JBS. As the #1 meat protein producer in the world, they are proud of the Grand Island employees and their shared commitment to the community. JBS, making your world stronger. Gomez wins it back for the Islanders, drops it to Jacobo. Minutes in, South struck in the 51st minute here for goal number 3, Omar Ferragoso with the chip. Goals in the first half coming from Carlos Salazar in the 4th minute and Mauricio Felix in the 28th. Omaha South trying to improve to 6-0 here as the #1 team in Class A, and they're on their way. GI forced now to just have 3 on that back line, trying to chase this game. South with an opportunity. Strong tackle by Martin. And again. One back by Salazar. Ball with his feet. Settled in the middle, and Bedoya gets it. And Barriga unable to bring that one down in the box. There's Omar with his speed on the far side. Still with it at his feet. Once again, though, that's South back line. You beat one, you still have to beat 3 more.
And impressively, you got through a couple of them, but again, like you said, that 3rd one just stepped up and took it away. And then you got a goalie like Adrian Felix out there where, no cross out there even from Jair is going to kind of go out and challenge himself.
Here comes South. Ferragoso nearly in on goal had it not been for that slide tackle.
Martin's just been doing a good job of just holding him up. Last couple minutes we saw him out there on that wing after Covarrubias kind of took a stumble and kind of just stuck the player and was able to clear that. Right now South just hanging back, not showing as much urgency as they did within that first half, and for obvious reasons. We want to keep our players healthy. We're up 3-0. Let's just go ahead, possess the ball, keep it on their half.
Looks like a free kick's been awarded here to the Packers right outside the box. Like a miniature corner kick coming up. Nobody home at the 18 and just miss-hit. And here's a chance for the Islanders, 2-on-1. Omar with the speed, and he's going to keep it. Najib Omar, the sophomore speedster, has a crack, and Felix took away the angle. That is hard to do. I'm tired right now watching Najib do that, but he got tracked down from behind. He had the ball at his feet, taking on defenders, and I don't know if maybe you try to square it, but I mean, after doing all that work, I think you probably just got to take the shot and see what happens.
He did. You know, I thought he was going to get stopped there in the middle by that center back right at halfway. He went ahead, he took him on, and unfortunately now it looks like Najib's taking a seat down there on the far side. Looks to be limping a little bit.
And that is not a good sign. If you're Coach Jensen or just any fan right now, and something with his left either foot or leg.
I'm curious to see if it's that same one. You know, earlier in that first half, he kind of looked like if the shoe came off as well.
And he's taking the shoe off now and sort of being helped off.
And as the ref kind of stopped the play for Najib, we actually got a new goalkeeper out here for the Islanders. Juan Castro replacing Leonardo Bedoya.
Well, he's going to be tested right away. So we'll keep our eyes on Omar as well and see if he comes back out or not. But even if it's a little tweak, I think you'd assume at probably this point you just leave him off for the rest of the contest unless you somehow get back into this game.
We got 23 minutes left here in that second half. Islanders still fighting. Packers just showing some great defensive setup, not allowing themselves to get too deep into their final third.
Orozco heads it back and goes to Castro. So Yunus Yahya, he came in due to Najib's injury, a junior. Some pretty good speed and a little bit bigger body than Najib.
A lot bigger body. I'm going to have a little bit more difficulty knocking him off the ball compared to Najib. But, you know, I'd say it balances out. You lose that speed within Najib and you just get a bulkier player within Yunus.
Ball won back by Salazar, David Salazar. Tackle from behind. And no card. Free kick.
Yep, those refs just allowing them to play. We haven't seen too many fouls really in this game. The fouls that we have seen, they really haven't been too harsh, but
wow.
They haven't been too harsh, but he is calling on keeping this game under control, but allowing the boys to play.
And that was another just quickly taken free kick by the Packers. GI wasn't entirely ready for it. And it turned into that shot that threatened Castro. Gomez pulls it back. Castillo with it. Again, here come the Packers. Strong tackle by Martin. Carlos Salazar kicks it up. That'll be an Islander throw. And you have two Islanders getting ready to come back onto the pitch. And it looks like that is Najib. So that's good news for Grand Island fans. Omar coming back on. 20 minutes still to play. Adon. Ball in the box. Pulled back, rip. Oh, and from the angle we're at, I thought that one was in. David Salazar with the footwork. Pull back, right foot. A little bit too much of a hook on it. Another GI throw upcoming. We're officially halfway through the second half. Packers got their third goal in the 51st minute, thanks to Omar Fregoso.
Packers just moving that ball down the side, still working. Jacob Jacobo winning the battle.
There's Omar, not too hampered by that injury that took him off the field not long ago. Passes it off, there's the give and go to Omar. Out wide, and the Islanders win a corner.
Only second corner out here for the Islanders all night. We've got a player out there by Steven, thinking they're going to play it short, and they do.
Packers clear away the danger. Now Omar on the near side of the pitch. Ulloa. Castillo to Omar. Ulloa going to the far post, no one there for the Islanders. And Felix coming out. Ball intercepted, one back by the Packer back line. Carlos Salazar. Shot from distance blocked by Jacobo. He had Palga wanting to give it a crack from about 30 out. There's one from 25. He's there. Adon. Packers sort of reasserting themselves again with their possession. And as I say that, Islanders win it back. It's kind of just been the story of the night, though, Abel. GI have been creating some decent opportunities, but when they get to that final attacking third, that back line shuts it down every time.
You know, it's just that final pass. We're seeing too many through balls, too many balls through the air, and the Packers are just way too good to fall for anything close to that. They're always stopping anything out of the air, stopping any through ball that gets through. Only thing that seems to be working for them so far has been Najib.
Ball in the box, turn, shot across, and it skitters wide. "15 minutes and change."
You know, this close to the end, obviously the Packers are probably not going to change too much structurally in their in their team, probably set a couple people more back, probably start taking some of these other players off the field. And for the Islanders, well, you haven't had much out here. Maybe it's time to just go ahead and use this as an advantage. Maybe down the road you'll have a similar situation, and maybe you just want to set up your team a little bit differently and see what else can happen.
Good defense there by the Islanders. Well, I think it's safe to say the South team is as good as advertised, Pavel.
They came out here, they came ready. You're out here in front of this home crowd. You obviously want to please that crowd, the community. Grand Island, they came out here, they did their best, and they're still fighting out here. They're obviously not going to give up until that final whistle, at least hoping for one or two out there on that scoreboard. But obviously this Packers, now all they're looking for is that clean sheet. Adrian Felix, I guarantee you, is shouting for that clean sheet.
Well, talking to Coach Jensen prior to this contest as well, he said, we're coming here with the hope of winning. We plan on winning, but if we don't want the kids to get too worried about it, because in the scheme of things, it's one game. It's going to serve as a nice measuring stick, rather, of where we're at and where we need to go. So I think this kind of gives you a roadmap for where you want to be by the end of the season.
No, absolutely true. Especially this early in the season. We're 5 games in, maybe into the season for a lot of these teams across the state. And, like you said, what better way to put yourself out there, see where you stand in the state than to challenge #1 team out here. And Islanders will definitely take away from this, learn what they need to go out there, do, improve as themselves or even as a team. But, going forward, this is a game that either team is going to have to forget very quickly. We have the Islanders out here next week approaching the HAC tournament. HAC tournament including a couple of other top teams in the state, Lincoln Southwest, Lincoln North Star out there potentially facing either of those two in the second, third round.
As for South, they get Omaha Central next before their conference tournament. And a match a lot of people will be looking at is April 12th when they go to Omaha Westside, a team that's also undefeated right now at 6-0, the #2 team currently in the state. Very well could be a 1-2 matchup.
Be an excellent game to go and watch. Some great teams out here in the metro area.
And it's interesting too, because talking to Coach Jensen at Grand Island as well as Coach Steinbrook at Kearney, he said there's so much pride in the programs, and you hear it a lot. You say we want to show the state, we want to show the capital city, the metro, that we can play soccer out here too, that there's some talent out in quote-unquote western Nebraska. If you're on I-80, it's technically west, but that was one of the missions for the Islanders here coming in, and I think they've showed that they're a talented team. They're a little bit outclassed at this point by an Omaha South squad, but a lot can change in a season. You can grow and develop, and I mean, from what we've seen now from South, you fully expect them to be playing deep into the state tournament at Morrison Stadium. And talking to Coach Moss, he said, we'd be disappointed if we at least don't get to the final night of the championship. Win or lose, we expect to at least be there.
And for both programs, this is just an excellent matchup. It allows them to see the dynamic across the state within these different teams. What are exactly these teams looking like, setting up out here in the metro area? Same thing for the Packers. What is, a couple of those teams out Western Central looking like? Kearney, a team that could potentially make it out there to the state tournament, potentially a team that they could face off, and some similarities in both of these teams.
Speaking of Kearney, Grand Island and Kearney, of course, will be clashing like they do every season. That game on the 12th as well. That will be a game we'll be broadcasting in GI.
Out of Memorial Stadium, anyone out there in the Tri-City area, go out, check out that game. It's definitely a rivalry that these two teams love to go out there and put it all on the field for.
Omar released on the far side. Might be tough to live up to the dramatics of the GI Kearney game last year that went to a shootout. But you never know.
Absolutely. Kearney coming back within, I believe, the last 10 minutes and scoring the equalizer. But, Islanders just had that goalkeeper at the time that it's just going to be even more difficult for Kearney to just come out on top. Looking about 10 minutes here, you can see some of the Packers switching a couple of their individuals out there in the lineup, obviously not touching those two center backs whatsoever.
GI just unable to find that final pass here today. Some mistakes have cost them. South made them pay. And that's what good teams do. And we talked about kind of the tradition of this Omaha South team and this program that started with Joe Moss 19 years ago. And believe it or not, this was a program that did not have the aura or the tradition that it has now. 0 games the first season he came in and did, the Packers win. Then they won 1 game the next season, then 2, then 3, then 4, and then it just sort of started snowballing to a point where the Packers have now won 8 straight district championships. They've been ranked nationally several times at the end of seasons, including #1 back in the 2013 season when they won state. But when you talk to Coach Moss, someone who's dedicated really a huge portion of his life to this program, to this community, and really changed the definition of what it means to play for Omaha South and be a Packer.
Oh, it's just these players. They buy into what he's preaching, and it's working. He knows what he's doing. He's given these players the opportunity, the ability to come out here and just continue in that tradition, show the state, what is the Omaha South area out here, and specifically this program. And I would imagine back then, 19 years ago, the community out here for Omaha South probably wasn't as in abundance, right? But you start winning a couple games, you start showing who you are, putting your name out there, and the rest will come with it. And like you see there, you got the fan base, you've got that tradition, and now you've just got this winningness in the program.
And it's funny too, because he sort of looks at it as he likes to play every team in the state. He doesn't necessarily like getting caught in a rut where we're playing the same teams over and over again, and so he likes to schedule or try to schedule any school to come out and play that he hasn't played before. So he says he has Scotts Bluff coming in later this season in a conference, not conference tournament, but a tournament play over the weekend. Never played Grand Island before. There's one of 2 teams he hasn't played in Class A. Grand Island was one, and Southwest was the other. Or I think he said hadn't gotten wins against either. And so he got another notch, or he's going to get another notch here with GI. So he only has 1 team in his tenure with the Packers that he has yet to beat, which is Lincoln Southwest, and that's something he told me he hopes to schedule next season.
And again, that's just knowledge, experience that you gain by just putting yourself out there and wanting to play one another.
Packers threatening here. A little over 7 minutes to go. Well, with 7:18 left here to go, we'd like to remind you the Foot and Ankle Clinic of Central Nebraska is a proud supporter of area athletes and is committed to improving the health of your feet, ankles, and lower legs. With clinics in Broken Bow, Hastings, York, and Grand Island, go online to learn more or schedule an appointment at gifootclinic.com. Shot from distance, that one well over the crossbar from Polga, also known as Wawa. Fun fact for you.
Good, unique nickname there. Probably pretty easy to find if you're yelling Wawa out on the field.
3-0 Packers. As a den releases Jose Hernandez. Squaring across the middle, ball at the 6-yard box. Hernandez with the left foot, headed, and it goes high as well.
And Packers just continuing off the side, off the wing, putting that ball across, and no Islander was really up in the air to challenge that ball whatsoever. He had a pretty clean opportunity there to just kind of get under the ball and try to get that on target.
Looking ahead to the Heartland Athletic Conference tournament, Grand Island will either be probably a 2 or a 3 seed, depending on how sort of the wild card points rather shake out after tonight. The seeding is going to be made tomorrow. Southwest will be the number 1. And like you mentioned, just a matter of if it's North Star or GI, will be either 2 or 3.
Yep, and regardless if they are 2 or 3, that 2 and 3 is going to be facing each other either in that second round. You would almost have to say that, the way Sinklin Southwest is looking, and the teams that they're going to be matched up against in that HAC final, they have a pretty good shot at making that last round, that final match. But the Islanders, that's something that they're nothing shy or unfamiliar with. I think 7 HAC finals in a row it has been that the Islanders have just shown up, and that rivalry even there between Lincoln Southwest and Grand Island has just become out of nothing in that HAC tournament.
Of course, the Islanders, the defending HAC champs again last year with that shootout victory over the Silverhawks. Hard to believe the HAC tournament's already here. Soccer season just goes so fast.
All we can ask for now is that April weather. Not cold, maybe a little bit of drizzle, but you know what? The last couple seasons, we've just been out here shivering out in the stands. So hopefully Mother Nature treats us right this April.
I am right there with you on that. As time is winding down here at Collins Stadium here in Omaha. Jacobo, his pass is intercepted.
And it looks like the tempo of the game has just slowly been decreasing, been slowing down. We're still getting passes off into the space, but just not seeing as much urgency as we have. Here we have a breakaway.
And as we say that, the Packers get their 4th goal. It's Ricky Barriga. His first goal of the season. He got through on a failed clearance, and that was an easy left footer. Another look at it here on the replay, brought to you by Cornhusker Toyota Honda. And clinically went past the keeper.
Like you said, we saw there just a failed clearance.
Goal coming in the 77th minute. Not that it would have had a change on the outcome of the game. Packers playing all the way through. Chance here maybe for another. South with the numbers. All passed off. All lost in the box again, and Castro with the save. And good defense there by the Islanders on that far side as we near 2 minutes to play.
2 minutes remaining.
Packers give away a free kick there. Well, I think we kind of know the moral of the game. Abel, what are your takeaways from it for both teams? What can GI learn first off?
It's just cleaning up those mistakes, being able to clear the ball when you need to, having that ability to, stand a player up. We've seen a couple of just light challenges, and again, right here, just getting that ball out at your feet.
Great ball movement here by South.
But Islanders just need to clean up those mistakes, get back into the rhythm. I think they played too much the other way, playing at Omaha South's game. You know, they were chasing the ball. Omaha did a great job of just passing that ball around, pulling those players out of space. And too much of this time, we saw them just kind of chasing that ball, trying to run back, catch up with the play, missing those clearance, and again, just giving them that opportunity. Omaha South, just probably keep doing what you're doing. They're doing a great job, able to connect. They've got some great chemistry out here between one another, ability to just shoot outside the 18. Man, you're going to be a deadly force.
I was going to say, anything you saw tonight that shows that the South Packers shouldn't be the #1 team in the state right now? Because I can't think of much. Done pretty much everything well. As I think that might actually be the first real shot on target for the Islanders.
Yeah, oh, it definitely was, and just right there in Felix's arms. So
8, 7, 6.
You hear the seconds
4,
ticking down.
3, 2, 1.
That'll do it here from Omaha South's Collins
Your final
Stadium.
score,
The Packers
South
get the
4,
victory.
Grand Island 0.
4-0 over Grand Island. South improves
On behalf of the
to
Omaha South High School staff
7-0,
and
or
administration,
6-0 rather,
hope
with the
you enjoyed your
victory.
visit today.
Grand Island drops to 4-1.
And that you drive home safely. Good night, everybody.
We'll take a quick break and hear from our winning coach, Joe Moss, player of the game, as well as wrap things up with our top plays when we return on News Channel Nebraska. And welcome back here to Collins Stadium. Joining us is our player of the game, Carlos Salazar, as Omaha South gets the victory over Grand Island. 4-0 to remain undefeated on the season. Carlos, didn't take you too long to get warmed up. You ripped it from about 25 yards out. Walk us through that opening goal in the 4th minute.
I don't think I scored that, actually.
The first one? Well, who was it then?
I think it was Omar Fregoso, I think.
Omar Ferragoso, because he had the chip as well. Well, being a leader on this team, though, with 4 goals so far this season, what do you think this team has to do and what they can do, as you guys obviously has aspirations of getting to the final?
Right. No, we just got to keep working hard. We've been working hard every day at practice. We have a thing of not taking days off. Even if we have games, we got to come back the next day and keep going at practice. And we're just taking one match at a time, pretty much.
And you'd never played Grand Island before, but coming in, they were a top 10 team. They were also undefeated. So with this game being a measuring stick, how do you feel you guys did?
We did pretty well. We didn't play to our capabilities today, but I think, we just got to keep improving game by game.
Of course, the next big game on your schedule is West Side. I know you don't want to look ahead too much. That's potentially a #1 versus #2, but with that being a game you've circled on your schedule, how are you feeling about midway through as you take on the Warriors coming up?
We'll take us against anybody, that's the mentality we have, and then we just got to keep going. But like we said, Central's next on our schedule, and that's what we're focused on right now.
And lastly, you're a junior, but this is going to be your last high school season with you going to Creighton next year. How are you approaching this season personally as a player, knowing this is the last time you'll be playing high school ball?
I'm just trying to help my team and then get my fitness level up, improve as a player in general. It's just keep going at it like any other game.
Carlos, thank you for the time and good luck the rest of the way this season.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's bring over Coach Moss as he's dealing with the balls right now. Coach.
Well, my kids mostly.
Kids as well, they get in the way sometimes.
Way more than balls.
Well, we appreciate you joining us here quickly. 4-0 victory over Grand Island, a team that was undefeated coming into this season. You guys obviously undefeated as well. How do you feel about the result?
I feel good about the result. This game, the kids have talked about it through club, and I know I've heard Jensen talk about us playing. We've never played before, so this is a good way to start off the series, I guess, because we'll be out in Grand Island next year. So overall, I would say I'm pretty pleased with tonight's performance, but we can play a lot better, and I think kind of like he said in the interviews I saw before the game that this is just one game, and there's a long season ahead of us, and we have a lot of good games ahead of us, and so do they. We'll probably still catch them at state again, I'm sure.
Well, in terms of the game itself, you guys wasted no time getting out on the board, 4th-minute goal from outside the box, and that really set the tone. So how do you feel that impacted the rest of the game, that first opening goal?
I thought just scoring that quickly, it put them on their heels real fast, and then we came back and scored another one. And then I thought the 10 minutes after the second half, they were really coming at us, and they were dominating the game for about 10, 12 minutes. And then Omar scored that goal, and then it seemed like then they just kind of gave up a little bit.
Well, moving ahead, obviously, you guys are sitting at 6-0. I'm sure this is where you expected to be at this point, but how do you take the momentum going forward?
We got Central on Saturday, and that's it's kind of slowly becoming a rival in Omaha, like Bryan High School as well. And so, 5 o'clock Saturday. I mean, maybe we'll celebrate this one for about the time it takes me to get to my truck, and then after that, I'll be thinking about Central right away.
Coach, well, thank you for the time and congrats on the win.
Thank you.
There we go.
Thanks for coming out, by the way, and televising. It's great.
Hey, we're glad to do it. We enjoyed it, and best of luck for the Packers the rest of the way. We'll take a quick break and hear from Coach Jensen when we return. And welcome back here to Collins Stadium one more time. Joining me, Grand Island head coach Jeremy Jensen, as we put the tie on this ball game. Omaha South gets the victory 4-0 over the Islanders. Coach, before the game, after the Hastings contest, you said this would serve as a measuring stick, and also you said, we were excited. We want to come out here and with intentions of winning, but it is just one game. So I guess first off, what's your ultimate takeaways from this game? South kind of got out on you early.
Well, they're obviously a good team, but the game plan was absolutely to come and try to play to win, and we played, I would say, fairly aggressive in terms of how we set up. Wanted to get out on the front foot, and South's a really good team, and we make a mistake and give them a little bit of momentum, and their midfield is just so well organized. The ball's in and out all the time, and looking at it, we put a lot of pressure on those boys in the back, trying to play 4-3-3, and so. But this is absolutely a big-time measuring stick for us because our goals don't change. We still have the goal of wanting to play on Final Four night and see what happens in a semifinal, and so this will be something that will absolutely be able to be a positive moving forward.
And on the bus ride going home, what are some of the things that you guys are going to talk about in terms of improvement?
Well, I mean, the kids are obviously disappointed, and that's a whale of a team that we just played. The score, probably a fair score. I mean, we had a couple mistakes, but they probably had a couple other opportunities that they could have put away too. So it certainly won't take anything away from them. It's just something that we have to really look at. We're not very deep. We look at our JV team. I pulled a couple kids up. I'm really looking for, in these big games on a big field like this, I mean, looking at the size of this field, athleticism is such an important piece of it. And so we're going to make sure that we're taking a look at that. The conversation on the way home is really going to be, it's a game. All this means is we can't go undefeated this year. Certainly, like I said, our goals don't change. Saturday we got another game, and hopefully we'll get the taste of this one out of our mouth, and we'll move forward into that HAC tournament.
Well, of course, one of those goals, I'm assuming, is to defend that HAC title. So looking ahead to that, how are you feeling?
Well, the HAC tournament, when you look at Lincoln Southwest, North Star East, Southeast, I mean, it's really a tight group in terms of parity, and so we're going to have to play really well to defend that title. One of the things that I think is really cool about the HAC for us is that we've played in the final every single year that we've had that tournament, and so we want to make sure that we get to that final, and when we get to the final, we'll see kind of how everything shakes out. But we can't sit around and lick our wounds too long. We'll end up getting another helping of this butt whipping. So we'll kind of see how it all goes. But the kids are obviously disappointed, but we'll move forward.
Well, Coach, thank you for the time as always. We'll see you in Lincoln.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
We'll take one more break, come back with the top plays, and wrap things up here from Omaha when we return. And welcome back here to Collins Stadium, wrapping this one up. Time to take a look at the top plays as Omaha South wins 4-0 over Grand Island. News Channel Nebraska 30's top plays brought to you by the Central Nebraska Regional Airport in Grand Island. With daily service to Dallas, Fort Worth, and twice weekly flights to Las Vegas and Phoenix Mesa, from here you can go anywhere. Number 1 Omaha South taking on number 7 Grand Island. It did not take the Packers long to get on the board. Omar Fragoso from outside the box in the 4th minute. Packers up 1-0 early. They'd be up 2-0 after a free kick taken. And it catches the Islanders out by surprise. That coming from Mauricio Felix, 30 yards out. That goal coming in the 28th minute. So Omaha South takes a 2-0 lead into the halftime break. And coming out of halftime, Omar Fragoso gets his third goal, L1 button, with the chip. That goal coming in the 51st minute, South up 3-zip. As Grand Island, they would try as they might, but could not break down the back line of Omaha South, showing why they are the #1 team in the state. This would be a goal in consolation time. It'd be Ricky Barriga in the 77th minute, putting the game to bed. Omaha South gets the victory 4-0. Packers improve to 6-0. Grand Island drops to 4-1. I'm Brandon Axman, and those are News Channel Nebraska's top plays. And that'll do it here from Omaha. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to our terrific camera operators, producer Ethan Hess, as well as Victor, Kim, and Andy Klassen, as well as Nate. I'm Brandon Axman. We'll see you next time on News Channel Nebraska.